Okay, well, this is new. Um, this is my first entry into I don't even know what this is. This is just thoughts being captured in real time when I don't have a pen and paper handy. So, and unfiltered, without that filter of my cognition that typically is the barrier not the barrier, rather the filter that translates my words or my thoughts that I have as these like divine download or intuition or I don't know, but whatever this feeling that I'm experiencing right now is it's absolutely beautiful. And I have these thoughts a lot, I've noticed, especially when I'm immersed in water. That being said, I am currently in the bathtub. By the way, I didn't even get the details, not that it matters, but just for fun, just for like a point of reference. It is August 20th, 2022, and it is Saturday evening. It is 6:30 in the evening, and I am currently laying in a bathtub, currently indulging in this beautiful bath that I have been allowing myself permission to indulge in. I've always, you see the inspiration, the inspo of like the self-care activities, and baths have always been something that I felt were frivolous, not frivolous, but like silly, or why would you do that? Or I can't relax because, I just can't stay still long enough to lay in a bathtub, yet I would be like a complete nutcase and, have difficulty sitting still in general, but it was just an excuse. It was just a cop-out because I feel like when one is laying in a bath or laying anywhere really free from distractions and just honed in on being with their thoughts, it can get uncomfortable. So I think that my resistance to my initial feelings of being in a bath were due to the fact that when you're alone, you have to be faced with your thoughts, and sometimes those thoughts are uncomfortable, and some thoughts are intrusive, and you guys know. Wouldn't that be funny if I recorded this? Maybe I will. So initially I'm thinking maybe this is going to be a private thing because I have been pouring so much of my energy to the world. Not to the world, let's be honest, but to others. Like I've been, not like so much, but energetically I have. I think about people a lot, and I think about how I'm perceived and if I'll be accepted and if people like me. And even though like I'm getting so much better with the whole people pleasing thing, it's still difficult. And as I'm really leaning into the discomfort of dismantling my unfavorable or uncomfortable emotions and really trying to I don't know. Oh, P.S. That's the water. Isn't this so nice? It's like ASMR. My leg is currently splashing up and down. It was so fun. I don't even know where it was. Basically, I like baths now because they allow me to be centered, and it's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And as I'm laying here, so diving into the main thing that I wanted to talk about is, as I'm laying here, I'm noticing, and Eckhart Tolle in his book Power of Now states the mind and the overactive thinking and just the epidemic that we face as humans of having these thoughts. Like he says it so beautifully in this book, where he talks about how it's up to us. We have the free will to learn to train our minds to think less and to align with love, and to and Gabby Bernstein also, oh gosh, she has so many beautiful teachings on stepping out of the trance. Another one of my favorites that's popping in my head that I love so much. Tara Brock, Tara Brock, I believe. Yeah, that's what I think. She says that the majority of our lives as humans is spent in a trance. And what she means by that is we learn very quickly through being incarnated on this planet. We learn very quickly to get out of the present moment and to have our overactive minds thinking about the past, having anxiety about the past or depression about the past or something that happened, or being fearful of the future. And it's very, very dangerous, because when you look at it from the standpoint of energy and how the law of attraction works, if you're thinking negative thoughts and if you're allowing yourself to dwell in that negative space, more of that will not only come to you, not just more of those thoughts, but actual manifested experiences due to the perpetual negative thought, that due to the negative perpetual thought that then initiates the attraction of that experience. Like attracts like. So, goodness, these are the thoughts that I have. So I'm so glad that I'm recording this right now, because it's like I think these things, and I think to myself, especially in the shower. Excuse me. Let me get a sip of my drink. Yeah, it's wonderful that I'm taking the time to actually verbalize these thoughts. And I'm home alone. Not that matters. Well, it matters. Obviously, it'd be a little... maybe I wouldn't be. I was thinking, like, would I be shy to do this if Troy was home, or would I be cool with it? And I think, like, if he was in his man cave, even though it's next door to me, I feel like if I was like, hey, babe, I'm going to just do some audio journaling or something, I think he'd be like, okay, babe, do whatever you want, I love you. Have fun. Have fun. Oh, I love him so much. So going back to, where was I going with this? I started with Eckhart Tolle. We're talking about our thoughts, and then I was going to delve into, I had it, what was it going to be? That's what I mean. Like, it's such a fascinating thing when you allow yourself to sit in stillness and just to cease your thoughts and to align with the higher frequency, which is always of love. So it's always of love. So like people that have negative thoughts, and I have suffered with that for years. I was on antidepressants for, goodness, like the majority of my 20s, pretty much. All of my 20s up until like my mid-30s, so 15 years maybe, on like I tried. So regardless, I'm not wanting to get into medicine. Not that medicine is, or pharmaceutical medicine is bad. I think it definitely helps serve a purpose, and it helped me in very vulnerable moments. But I think that my whole quest of healing included me not relying and trying to find alternatives. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, the Reiki had helped me so much, and then that turned me to just energy healing, and definitely want to have more structure to these conversations, because I was going to also mention how grateful I am, and gratitude, and how I'm grateful for this journey that I'm on, because even in moments like those miscarriages, I'm beginning to see such beauty unfold because of those situations, because I endured loss. The one time was understandable, and then when it happened again, it was was devastating. But in that devastation and in that imploding of your inner world is when you are forced to take a look in the mirror, I guess, or to force to evaluate your priorities. I think it just happens automatically, like whether it's going through heartbreak, whether you're faced with, a job loss or a death or any place that takes you to a very vulnerable space internally is ultimately a blessing because it's a catalyst if one chooses to use it as such. It can be a catalyst to tremendous growth. So when I think about what that whole thing happening, I learned, not only did I learn so much, I made a beautiful friendship with this amazing girl named Kate, who I met on the Peanut app, which is like the app for moms and for women who are pregnant that want to meet moms and build a community and build relationships with the same moms. So I met her on there, and then we met in person excuse me, at a coffee shop and like vibed so well. Anyway, and now I need a drink. And now we're like so close, and I love her so much, and she's just such a beautiful soul. Oop. And while I was pregnant, like simultaneously, because I didn't feel good emotionally or mentally when I was pregnant. So I think like also when I think back on that, I think like maybe my soul knew what was going to be happening. So on a level, I mean, it was weird. It was the weirdest sensation. It was like anger. It was anger. And then, no, it was like sadness that I was pregnant. Or as I would have these like, I don't know, these like bouts of sadness come in, and I'd be like, why am I sad? I'm birthing, I'm creating a human life. Like, this is something Troy and I are ready for. And anyway, gosh, I get on tangents so quickly and easily. Goodness. The whole point there is that everything always works out. And I'm just, not only that situation of gaining a beautiful friendship with somebody who's so like-minded and so growth-minded and has endured similar circumstances in their upbringing and childhood, and just someone who is just like very similar to me personality-wise. Like, I'm very, very sensitive, and I really didn't learn how to gauge my how to handle my emotions when I was younger, and just as I'm getting older, I'm learning there's a lot of things about me that I'm like, oh God, like, where did this come from? Why am I behaving like this? Like, why would I have this reaction to this situation? And then that's what's really gotten me into the childhood trauma, the healing, and ancestral trauma, which has been mind-blowingly fascinating. I was listening to this podcast about epigenetics and talking about how when a person embarks on healing their inner wounds through like guided meditations and neuro-linguistic programming or NLP, or really just delving into and there's a whole method. I don't really know the full like technique, but when you heal yourself and you heal these parts of you that aren't comfortable, because you're actually healing your ancestral trauma and generational trauma and patterns of pain and conflict and just unresolved shit. So I've listened to this and it's so over my head, but it's also so addicting to me, like learning about this stuff, knowing that we are not at the mercy of what is, that we have the opportunity and the strength and the power to not only heal ourselves, literally, and Dr. Joe Dispenza is like man is fascinating. He does his whole work thing, his whole like trying to find a better word, career is helping people empowering them to heal themselves, to cure themselves of cancer, of debilitating diseases that they had a very poor, very bad situations. I can't be articulate right now. I'm like losing my mojo. My foot is asleep. Let me fix my foot. Maybe that's why my blood is rushing to other places in my body and it's leaving my brain. How many minutes are we on here? 15 minutes. Wow, I've been talking for 15 minutes out loud to myself. This is so cool. All right, guys, what else? I'm just fascinated by everything. Everything fascinates me, and I want to learn absolutely everything, and I'm, I guess, just so grateful that things happen in life because they happen for your highest good, and even when you can't see them in that moment, it always works out. And my example of my beautiful goddess soul sister Kate is a beautiful shining example that that's what I was going to mention too. When I was pregnant, I joined that peanut app, but before I did that, like I was asking my guides in the universe, like I really want to meet people that are going to serve my highest good. Like I'm ready to step into the woman that I'm ready to become, because I just been feeling for years like, who are you becoming, Joita? Like what type of, like, I don't know. I never fucking knew. I never was taught like value. I mean, I don't know. Like I was taught like, I don't know. Not a very functional family dynamic at all. So growing up like in an absent father who like never made me feel loved, or it was just a weird dynamic. But then again, like he did the best he could with the tools he had available, right? So anyway, I'm just long story longer, just realizing how but I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't have him as a dad. So and releasing that resentment and anger towards him, even though I haven't seen him since I was 17 in court. I think I saw him in court when my parents were going through their divorce. I don't know, but just every time, like, I think about him, or I think I saw him a couple of times in passing. Just such an uncomfortable vibe, and my heart just like, I don't know, it's weird. So now I think about that and I feel that, but before I felt just like anger, and I mean, rightfully so, right? Rightfully so. Like, you were shitty to my mom. You were shitty to me. You weren't present. You were always complaining about everything. And yeah, you took us on vacations. And I understand, like, our socioeconomic status was not good. I get it. And I appreciate the fact that he brought us from Poland to the United States. I appreciate that so much, and appreciate the family vacations. And we went to Mexico so many times, and it was so fun to explore beaches. And I love that about my childhood. That was amazing. That was a really cool part. And, but he did the best he could. And my mom, same thing with her. And everyone is on their own journey. And me holding resentment towards anyone in my family is only hurting me. Or holding resentment towards anybody is literally only hurting me, because people are doing the best that they can. And although I feel that they could do better, until they're ready to see it themselves, it's not my responsibility. And I know I have my own stuff to work on too, so that's also another thing. I feel like so many people like love to point the finger at others, yet when the mirror is turned on themselves, it's like, I don't want to talk about it. Or they flee, they run, right? Fight, flight, freeze, and then it's the same perpetual pattern of just misery, because if you refuse That was not a fart. That was me sinking down. That was me sinking down in the tub. Oh, that's funny. That was really good. That was a really nice audio effect. Sounded like a big old fart. A big old long fart. Thanks for that. Yeah. The difficult thing is turning the mirror on ourselves. But once we do that, then once you like surrender to the fact that you have issues too, and actively work towards identifying ways that you can, I keep the word dismantle. I keep using that word, dismantle. But I do feel like it's such an appropriate word, because until you're ready, because you're not trying to, that's the thing. For the longest time, I always was like, I want to get rid of these negative emotions and these negative feelings. Like, I want to get rid of them so much. And you realize that they're there to teach you something. So if you're trying to get rid of something, it's not going to make it go away. It's like telling, you think about, oh God, geez, I just got like a visual, like a crying child. A crying child, you tell a crying child to go away. Like, oh my God, like just the thought of that even just makes my heart break. Like, I would never tell a crying child to go away. Like, I would envelop that beautiful child in my arms, and I would ask them, what do you need? What's wrong? Talk to me. And I would sit and I would listen, and I would hold them and console them and listen. And that's what our emotions are. That's what not always. Intrusive thoughts can be just negative thought forms that are attracted to us, because everything is energy. And when you are emitting a low frequency, okay, settle down, Juita. We already talked about that. But I would console the child, because the emotion is wanting to be heard, and it's coming out. It's actually a service to us to feel, because people that don't allow themselves to feel, that energy has to go somewhere. And that is how physical ailments arise, due to suppressed emotion. Louise Hay. Let's talk about her for a moment. An author of one of my favorite books called You Can Heal Your Life, endured massive trauma as a child, and just throughout her life learned, this is complete like cliff note, because she's a miraculous woman, but she healed her life through her thoughts. And her work is beyond fascinating. And in that book, You Can Heal Your Life. And some of the things, my logical brain is like, really? Because it seems too easy to think that you can heal yourself. You can but I do believe the concept of dis-ease, 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 which is disease. But that's dis-ease in the body, which is resulting from suppressed negative emotion that then manifest into physical ailments like cancer. So in her book, long story longer, You Can Heal Your Life, in the back of the book, she talks about various physical ailments, and then corresponds them to emotions or to parts of the body that are associated with it. Like she was mentioning anger. When you're angry, that manifests into cancer. Typically, it's like years and years and years of just the negative feelings that have just been suppressed, and you never speaking up, speaking your truth, speaking your voice. That energy. Excuse me. I need a drink. I drink. Talking so much. Drying my throat out. It's been dry. Well, it's Arizona, so of course it's dry, but it's just fascinating. So good. All right, 25 minutes almost. It's just fascinating. Well, that was a really enjoyable bath. I feel like I talked about I touched on a bunch of different things, but I hope whoever is listening to this, if you enjoyed it, that makes me happy, because this is how my brain works, and it's going to be a treat to listen back to see what we talked about. But long story short, I am beginning to fully comprehend the purpose of our existence. And although I have these beautiful realizations when I allow myself moments of stillness, which is the most beautiful form of self-love is this, because I become a better person when I do that, when I allow myself to have these moments, because I get hit with so many beautiful realizations, which ceases the negative thinking and the feeling of just the negative feelings that I've not feelings, thoughts, because I feel great. Just this whole journey is so fascinating. This whole self-love, self-development, personal growth. It's a blessing. Life is a blessing. All experiences are a blessing. Every person that comes into our life is a blessing, even if the encounter is uncomfortable or, as we perceive, negative. It serves a purpose. And until we graduate whatever lesson that is that we are meant to experience, we're going to keep receiving the same. That's another thing too. The life lessons, like the universe, God, source energy. And the most freaking fascinating thing of all of this is that we chose. Do you know that you chose? You chose to incarnate. Your soul chose. Your soul chose the perfect parents, perfect environment, perfect circumstances that would act as your divine blueprint that would be able to set you up for what your soul came here to learn. Isn't that just a beautiful concept? That's really beautiful. Because then you realize that you chose everything. And it's always a choice to align with love. I feel like the whole purpose of our existence is to unlearn fear that we've been programmed and taught to know, and to ultimately completely and unconditionally relearn love. I feel like that's what we're all striving to do. Well, that was a really glorious bath, and I really appreciate you listening. And if you are listening and you resonate with what I'm saying, my heart feels so full, because sometimes I feel like I'm alone. And even though I know I'm not, I know that we're all connected, right? But it's just a cool thing to realize that we have all the power in our hearts, and that aligning with love and aligning with our truth and our authentic truth, and that is the key to life and to living the most fulfilling life. Because of course we all want to be happy, And happiness is unfortunately fleeting because we can't be happy all the time, because happiness is just one emotion. And imagine if we were happy all the time, it would be so boring and it would eventually lose its appeal because that would become our default. So when you don't have extremes to kind of shake you up a little bit, then there's just, it doesn't make sense. You need to calibrate, and life is all about learning balance and calibrating and learning how to give, but then learning also how to receive, and learning to love ourselves and to know that we are essentially all spiritual beings of love and light, embodying this meat suit for a short period of time. So, and then I just thought of the word decay, but I think that's just such a harsh word. When we depart these physical apparatuses, these physical containers, we return to love. We return back to our soul family, our wherever, whatever. I've watched too many near-death experience episodes and shows to not believe that there's something out there. There's something beyond this. There's something beautiful beyond this. This, and that there are multiple realities and multiple parallel timelines, which is just fascinating. The whole concept of quantum physics and metaphysics and epigenetics, all that's just, everything is so cool. So the more I learn about it, the more I'm like, what the heck? And then I remember that my natal chart reading that I had from the astrologer last month, or it was June 29th, so almost 2 months ago. Holy cow, time is flying. It's almost been 2 months. Apparently I was a psychic and a healer in many of my past lives, so I chose this incarnation to learn how to return love to myself. If you can hear that, that's Haley breathing. Hi, baby. I'm in the bathtub. She's like, I'm out. Oh, Gabby, is that you? Everyone's coming to hang out. Which I don't blame them, because the knowledge that I'm dispensing right now is just invaluable. But really, though, these thoughts are incredible. We talked about a lot. I think I would be done. Yeah, 33. So that was absolutely beautiful, you guys. Whoever is listening. 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Oh, I love it. Angel number. I don't even know if it's an angel number. Just threes in rapid succession. 33333. All right, I love you. Thank you for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.